it's time to do a mock. Now, before we get started, I'd like to tell everybody like and subscribe to this video. That's obvious. But I want to talk to you guys and ask you, just gut feeling, like how much do you think this draft is going to look than the last one we did, which at this point I think was a couple of months ago, and I feel like a lot's changed personally. But do you guys think that's what it's going to come down to, or is it still going to be chalk?
I think the top maybe 7 picks or so will probably be pretty similar, and then after that, I think it'll be a pretty decent change.
Okay. Well, I'm excited to get into it. We've got our mock draft machine here. We're going to go round 1 for video 1. We'll do round 2 for video 2 this week. So, if you're watching round 1, be sure and watch out for the second round, which will be coming up. So we'll draft 24 total freshmen for the 2025 class. And looks like I've got the 101. I'm not going to make the same mistake that I did last time we did this and wait on QBs thinking I'm so smart. So this is pretty simple. I still think it's Bryce Underwood, 101, pretty hands down. Some other good QBs in the class, but I do think Underwood's he's the dude of the dudes in this class. So don't need to belabor that point. David, solving football, have you solved pick number 2?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Decorian Moore. He had that one down game that Alfred tried to bury him, gave up on him, just looking for reasons to not like him. But I don't know. He's just off first reactions. He was the only guy I kind of considered like a tier 1 receiver for me. So it's going to lock him in and roll with that.
Yeah, I can't hate it. I definitely enjoyed. I think I took him at the 2 or the 3 last draft and was pretty happy about it. And then I realized I didn't have a QB, but definitely can't argue Decorian Moore going to a good offensive environment as well in Oregon. Matt, 103.
Yeah, I feel like there's for me at least, there's a clear top 3, and Tavian rounds that out for me. Next best state quarterback, I hope at least. Having a solid senior season so far. Not necessarily lighting it up or doing anything crazy, but a solid, good senior season from just a very well-rounded, ready-to-go prospect.
Yeah, great prospect for sure. And again, going to a great offensive environment. I mean, QBs just produce at Ohio State. And as we've said before, I don't think any of us are too worried about Julian Sayin providing much of a roadblock there. So I've got pick 4 here. And, I kind of wanted to stock up on QBs, but I think one of my favorite QBs will be there next time. I'm going to go with I think has now become maybe my favorite running back in the class, although there's a clear top 2, but I'm going to go with Bo Jackson 2.0. He's going to Ohio State. I'm not that impressed with the Ohio State depth chart after the 2 guys leave this year, Henderson and Judkins. I think he gets run as a freshman. His his star index is, best in class. Nothing not to like about Bo Jackson. I'll kick it to David for the 105.
I'm going to go with Keelan Russell here. He's having a really good senior season. He's completing 75% of his passes, 12 yards per attempt, 20 TDs, 1 interception, just been hyper efficient. Has 25% of the team's rushing yards as well. I think he's a good fit in that system. I don't know how much to credit DeBoer as far as, the season that what's his face is having right now, but Jalen Milrow. So yeah. I don't know. I just assume it's a friendly system to be in. He's going to have tons of good targets, Ryan Williams and, Caleb Cunningham and such. So I like the fit too.
Yeah, I guess Williams, by the time he starts, probably year 2, will be a junior. So, I mean, yeah, that's a great environment. I think DeBoer, he's blown my socks off this year. Honestly, I did not think it would carry over directly from Washington, but man, Alabama just looks lethal on offense. And I think that's just one of the best systems you can go to. Matt, 106.
Yeah, I'm going Deuce Knight here, the current Notre Dame commit, but he's been, talking around with others in the past few months. He's had a pretty solid start to the season. Obviously, had the awesome rise during the off season, where he showed fantastic outings at camps, tournaments. Solid year so far. Hoping for the flip because Notre Dame, but solid spot here. He's been a bit banged up so far this season, but I'm not too worried about it. Just such a high upside player here that definitely worth the risk at 6.
Yeah, great pick there. And I mean, I guess last I heard, he went to Auburn once or twice, but still technically has not wavered from his Notre Dame commitment, which is a little weird. So I've got 107. I am going to take my QB, fearing that David or you may take him before I get up again. So give me Longstreet, another guy I hope we flip from his current commitment at Texas A&M. But, I think that the talent's there. He's an elite athlete. And after he kind of got over that early season injury we've talked about, he's been pretty much back to being sensational. Star index looks great. Size looks great. Elite athlete, 40 time, all that. I think he's high upside QB to pair with my very safe high floor and high upside Bryce Underwood. So David, you're up next, and the QBs are getting thinner.
I'll go with Usman Karoma here. We still don't know where he's going.
But yeah, he delayed his commitment, right?
Yeah, last I saw, he was down to Georgia, Auburn, Florida State, maybe another team. So we don't know what the situation will be, but he's 6'1", 215-ish, can catch passes, really hard runner, really hard to tackle in general. So 3-down skill set. I think he could be a workhorse type guy, and that's what we want. We want volume, so I'll go with him.
Yeah, definitely don't hate it. I think those are the easy top 2 running backs of this class. All right, Matt, 109.
All right, I'm going to go with Jamie French here. French. I think it's just a really safe pick at this point. We're talking about a super ready-to-go player. Going to an offense that'll definitely continue to be productive, especially with wide receivers. So I just think it's a good, solid matchup, or pairing, I should say. Just a solid, safe pick on a good player. Not the best athlete, of course, but definitely adequate.
Yeah, I think super solid is a good way to put it. Pair him with Ryan Williams, and you got a stew cooking. All right, give me 110 here. I'm just shooting from deep, high upside all over the place for me. Give me Jerome Miles, the absolute freak wide receiver, now committed to USC. So, I was a little iffy in some of his earlier schools, and then he was looking to even go to Utah, which I honestly was not that excited about. But yeah, give me him in the USC system. I still think Riley knows what he's doing on offense, at least. And Julian Lewis throwing him the ball. Don't love Lewis as a fantasy producer at QB so much in the pros, but he should be able to distribute. And USC still puts up points, so no problem there. I like Jerome Miles. David, 111.
I'll go with Harlan Barrow here. So I get that he's on the smaller side. I do think that, honestly, I thought his tape was the best when I initially watched all these guys. So I'm kind of leaning on the tape here. I don't know how well he'll translate to college and then to the NFL as far as volume and stuff. He does have like a 5'10" and a half wingspan, and it just doesn't have he's got like narrow shoulders. I don't know how much he can really add. Probably 195-ish. I've seen some Reggie Bush comparisons. If that's the case, like that's still pretty good to me at this point.
Yeah, I don't hate it. I think I picked him at some point last year. Last draft. I thought it was a great value. So he's moving up in our drafts here. Now give me Matt's pick for 112. Finish out the first round.
I think I'm going to go Vernell Brown here. Don't necessarily love Florida, of course, but just a really good player. He's going to be a stud in the slot. Fantastic mover. And he's had a really productive senior season from what I've seen. I haven't checked the last 2 weeks, I think, but from what I saw, he was having several really big games. So, yeah, probably my best player available at this point. So,
Yeah, and you know what? Don't worry about Florida. Billy Napier's gone. Who knows what will? It may be Lane Kiffin. It may be Lincoln Riley. It may be Cliff Kingsbury. A lot of those names getting thrown around. No idea. Probably be none of them. Probably be like some guy from Montana State or something like that. But anyway, should be a little different next time around to see what that offense looks like. All right. Well, thank you for joining us for round 1. Stay tuned for later in the week. We will release round 2 on The Official.